Is this on? Okay. Can you see me? There.
So will you go through the itinerary and everything for us? Or if you want to sit here next to me and I could look at your computer or make the font really big. I think I'm the chair if I'm supposed to do it. You want to go get a chicken? We need to face the 12:10. Hello. I don't know about that, but I'm on camera. Can you believe it? I did that. Yeah. I can't believe it. Gracie just went to go get us a chicken because otherwise we won't have dinner. Yeah, go for it. Yes. Because they weren't going to be ready until 4:55. Hey, Andy. One minute late. And it's okay. Gracie's sitting there, Bonnie's sitting there, nobody's sitting here. How are you? You shaved your beard, you look nice. Did you go to the barber or did you do it yourself? Yeah, you look very spiffy. How are you?
Oh, good. Got back from 11 days in Death Valley
Wow.
where we were rained on hard, very, you know, not all night long, but at times it was just very dumping buckets of water. And snowed on once.
Wow.
And we were camping up at 4,300 feet,
Wow.
way above the valley floor.
Amazing.
But it was a great trip. And, all beautiful, beautiful clouds. And, one night, we were sitting around the fire. But there were about 6 of us. We were sitting around the fire, and the sky was covered with clouds. And I looked up, and there was a hole in the clouds over here. And in that hole was Orion. All of the constellations, it was just as though someone had made a cutout
Wow.
to show Orion. It only lasted about 5 minutes or so.
Wow. That's amazing.
It really was, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, we were in Southern California during the eclipse.
Yeah.
And we took a disco ball with us. Because then inside of our hotel room, with the light reflecting, the entire room just had hundreds of crescents.
Right.
It was so beautiful.
And have you ever looked at a sidewalk
Yeah, under the
underneath
tree.
trees,
Yeah.
where you see that the dots are not really the holes between the leaves. The dots are the holes between the leaves on acting as the whole
The whole
camera.
thing was, yeah, yeah. But then I feel like you can't see each individual one. With the disco ball, it put them all separated.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So then it was hundreds of separate ones.
Yeah.
Just absolutely beautiful.
Great.
Yay, dinner. Hooray. Hunting and gathering. I love it. Fabulous. All right. And Grace, can I use your computer since you have the minute? Great, great, great. That would be fantastic, because I did not do a good job last time. I mean, I did it, but it wasn't nearly as fun as whenever you do it.
Kyoto.
Yes, it is always one when somebody does. But me trying to feed and take notes, it's just too much. All right, so welcome, everybody.
Hello.
So it is. What time is it? Oh, 5:05. And let's go ahead and call the meeting to order, and we're gonna do roll call. Brooke Coffee is here. CJ Actor Perkins is not here. Angie Brown,
Here.
Grace Coffee,
Here.
Bonnie Crater, Yvonne Trice, and I asked them to take Linda off, and they did not. So, I think I did not. Yes, because I had to do the PDF of this, didn't I? So this is a new thing. Normally I send them information and they compile and put everything in it and then send it out to everybody, but now I'm compiling everything and turning it into a PDF.
It was a bit of a struggle.
Bit of a struggle. But fortunately, I have children that help me do these things because my computer did not like doing it at all. Okay, so first off, are there any oral communications for items that are not on the agenda? Yes, let's do it. Sure. That sounds fantastic. That sounds fantastic. I tried calling him and only talked to his assistant in his office. That's as far as I got. Yes, so if you get a hold of him, that would be so fantastic. You tried as well. Yeah. Bless you.
Mhm.
Fantastic. September. And then find out if there's a particular time, a particular night that's best for him. I think that's fabulous. That sounds wonderful. Okay, any other communications for items not on the agenda? Right, the next item of business is approving the minutes from February 8th, 2024. I put them at the bottom. Andy, do you want to look at this? Can you see? Can you see it? Oh, wonderful. Sounds great. That sounds great. Yeah, we were talking about maybe. Yes. We were going to talk about our next hike, so maybe that could be the person who leads our next hike. I love that idea. Wonderful. How does that look, Andy?
Good.
Good? Okay. All right, so can I have a motion to approve the minutes from February 8th, 2024? All those in favor? All right.
Aye.
All right, so for new business, I wanted to let you all know, and you probably got a flyer in the mail, but there is a volunteer appreciation party. So this is traditionally what they would have around the holidays. But if you didn't get a flyer in the mail, April 19th from 5 to 7 p.m. is the town volunteer appreciation party.
Yeah.
So we've all been invited, and it would be lovely to see you all there. It's at the town center. The grand room. I have no idea. I have no idea. Okay, so I hope to see you all there. The big room. So next item is to recap our March 10th hike that Andy led. It was lovely.
But one of the things I liked about it was that I didn't do all the talking. And that's exactly what I wanted. I wanted it to come from people's curiosity. And then if I could assuage that curiosity, why, fine. And so in that respect, I think it was a success. Would have been better if more people had been there, but we're not in charge of that.
I think what happens is that on the forum, a lot of people use just the weekly summary. And I don't know if we got into the weekly summary, even if somebody looks at it every day. So I think what we need to do is post maybe a couple weeks ahead of time, but then also again, a couple days before. So I can try to do that for the next hike, making sure that if somebody only gets, so if you can give me feedback, because I don't get information from the forum, I only go on it, but I don't get the email notifications. If any of you get a weekly notification, will you let me know what day you get it so that I know for timing if anybody does that? If not, don't worry about it. So if anybody gets an email from the PV forum, I'm wondering which day their weekly summary goes out. If the beginning of the PV forum week is, if they send those summaries on a Sunday, or if they send them on a Monday, then I would know kind of the best day for our timing. I can ask somebody else as well. My favorite part of that hike was when you were dissecting the gall and we were all sitting along Portola Road. I loved that part. And then whenever you ate some birthday cake, it was really great. Okay, so the next item is planning the next hike. We had said we were going to do them quarterly, but if we wanted to try to do one in May instead, because in June there are a lot of people that are gone. But if we think that May is too busy of a month, we can also just wait for June. Does anybody have any feedback for that? Ronnie, you mentioned. Okay. Grace, maybe your May is
My
very,
May's.
okay, so then maybe we do June then. You want to find out if a birding friend is interested in helping? But if we're looking at the calendar, for June, your last day is it June 6th? Grace? June 6th? Is that your last day? You want to say?
Do you want me to check? It's the first Thursday, of June,
The first, yeah, so I think that's the
And
6th.
and then Friday is graduation. So I'm gonna want to go to that as well.
Right. Then my guess is either the 23rd or the 30th might be one of the better Sundays of June. If you want to ask your birding friends, but if. Okay. And then shooting for the 23rd, seeing if that works for our next hike. Yeah, or 22nd and 23rd. Yeah, Saturday and Sunday. I love the idea of it being about birds. And
Mhm.
even if a birding friend doesn't come, we can still talk about birds. I can
You
talk
know
about,
plenty about birds.
I could talk about birds all day, every day. I had a wonderful experience with a hummingbird today, an Anna's hummingbird. My pencil, you want to use my pencil? The 22nd or the 23rd is the tentative hike date. So you would rather it be on this Sunday? Want me to?
Is the pencil there? I think that's a very old mechanical pencil that is not supposed to be refilled.
And then one of the things that came up in our last meeting was the idea of creating a Portola Valley almanac or field guide with
Mhm.
different items on it that, kind of similar to our wildflower bingo, that it would just be a small local guide. So if somebody wanted to go out and do a mushroom hike or a bird hike, et cetera, et cetera. So I was wondering if we want to discuss maybe what the best template or how we could gather that information. And then we mentioned that we might want to divvy it up. So if CJ really loves birds, he could help with compiling that field guide.
And
I
I'm-
love mushrooms.
I'm sure Emily would love to help.
Yeah,
you get
Emily could help
mushrooms.
with mushrooms for sure. But does anyone know of a program or software that would be best? Like, should we use Google Slides, Sheets? I don't.
know, but I would get $50. That one is good. So they are so effective.
But not specifically for Portola Valley.
Yeah, we're wanting to make it hyper local. So kind of like how. Mushrooms of the Santa Cruz Mountains. Yeah. So do we like the idea of using the format that we used for the wildflower bingo? So it's on one page. And then that way someone could print it out if they were going for a hike or a walk. What do you think?
I think that would be cool.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So pretty simple to do. Mm-hmm. Mm. That's great. Mm-hmm. Or could we do different lines for seasons? So like, this is what you might see during the spring. This is what you might see during the winter. Mm.
You basically have to do the height, right? I mean, before you have to create height. And what you're seeing. And in the Florida, like, they have to do it. They're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's impossible to do it. But you have to, you know, what that.
We could also do it for not birds, but just like plants of Portola Valley. We could do different scrubs and grasses and trees and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That might be more feasible.
Mm-hmm.
Or,
Mm-hmm.
you look like your eyes are glazing over, Mama.
They are very, very concerned about the name shifting.
Mm-hmm.
I think you can ask for some people, but I keep thinking, like I said before, that the names are all arbitrary. They're all made up. A child describes a dog in a certain way. I just put a name on the scientific one that is published.
I personally like labels because, for example, we were on a dolphin cruise last weekend. And as soon as they said bottlenose dolphins, I knew exactly which dolphin they were talking about. And so I was able to look for that one, right? So that's why I love labels and categories. Mm-hmm.
One thing that could be interesting, instead of just putting the name, like a picture and a name, trying to put some interesting fact about the plant. So not just picking random plants, but say doing miner's lettuce and then writing a little thing about how miners used to eat it and how that was their source of whatever nutrients. So things like that. So people aren't just looking for the names of plants, they're looking for a plant that has a cool story to it.
Yeah. Yeah. Or medicinal properties or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Migratory patterns if we decided to go down the hole of birds. I just keep thinking of that poster, you know, that poster that is Birds of PV that was done a long, long time ago. So many people have that hanging up and it's, you know, so beautiful and useful. Because it's, you know, just very specific to what, you know, the most common birds that we see here. It's a beautiful poster. I don't know. I did an Audubon event years ago. We did a, what was that called? The Climate Summit. Remember? Climate Summit? Well, for the Climate Summit, we muted out the ones that were going to be gone in 10 years. But then that Climate Summit, I want to say was
Are they gone?
No, they're not. They're not. But the numbers are going down quite quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why for the climate summit, we did that intentionally to kind of get, you know, people concerned that,
I've never heard one sing.
oh, interesting.
How important it is that I haven't seen by that time. But it does make me think.
Yeah. I've seen wrens and I've seen bush tits. So I don't know what a wren tit is.
Oh, well, we're very good at things. Flushed it. Long, a long tail and still the end, goes along with many things like that. Really very ordinary looking, but it's true, there's not a song.
Song, ping pong ball going downstairs. I love that. Discipline.
Thinking about birds that not be so abundant. Well, they never were abundant. But they weren't there to either. But having not heard of it again in 68 years, it was very fucking
Makes me nervous. No.
especially when you have the quiet time.
Mhm. I used to hear a lot more barred owls. I've noticed the owl population is definitely going down.
All one house. Right at the area.
Wow.
Also, windshield, felt good. Flattered with wingtip, that's what you do. And a lot of people probably like that, but I don't.
Grace and I were talking about that last week on our road trip. 'Cause
Mhm.
She got insects on her windshield for the first time. And I was remarking how that used to be very common. Every time you'd go for a drive on the highway, you'd get insects all over the windshield. And that was the first time she's ever experienced it.
Now down to where you can go way without watching the windshield.
Mhm.
I would like to, however, have the achievers to want to do this change in our regard about our fellow species. The more likely we are to not because the times of things just not aware of the numbers.
Well, that's why I'm wondering if a, one-page flyer of different categories might really be useful because then over the next, few years, people could be looking for those birds. And if they say, oh, I haven't seen a Feller's jay this year, it might really help people notice what's in their backyard. I love a good one page. So one question I have about doing this field guide, I love the idea of it. I just don't know how we would get photographs that are not copywritten.
Yeah.
So that we would have to figure out the legalities of that. Or maybe what we would do is Grace is a great painter. So she has done watercolors.
And how many volunteer hours would I get for that?
She just wonderful watercolors from pictures that other people have taken. So you wouldn't be using the picture that somebody's taken because it would be a watercolor version of that. So that might be one interesting, right? That would be a lot of hours, but
Mhm.
it doesn't, they don't have to be as detailed.
As Sibley and not Sibley.
Right. It could also be that we could just purchase some photos that aren't copywritten. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right. So if we were going to do something that was say 4 by 5, four rows, 4 columns by 5 rows, we could do 20 mushrooms, 20 trees, 20 wildflowers, and it would have kind of that grid look to it. How about if I start a Google sheet and we can all start putting in kind of our favorites? So then I bet we could say, once we figure out our 20 favorite wildflowers, maybe for mushrooms, it needs to be less, then we could go onto the forum and say, does anybody have a picture? Here's what we need pictures of. Right? That might be a way to compile things just from local photographers.
And I have some pictures already of wildlife that I've taken over the years.
Yeah. So you could be
Hummingbirds and-
you could be one of the photographers or one of the donors of said photographs. That sounds great. All right. So what are the different categories that we're feeling drawn to collecting? What are the different categories? I am enamored with mushrooms. So I personally would love to have a 1-page guide I could take out with me on those wet days. So I would love to have a mushroom one. I would love to have a bird one. Because sometimes I just don't want to take my entire bird guide. Trees and wildflowers. Yeah, last time we said birds, insects, amphibians, ferns, trees, wildflowers, mushrooms, grasses. You said grasses?
Do we have 20 different types of grasses that are kind of easy to access here? Do we have 20 different grasses here in Portola Valley that we can have people find?
I think that there are the smaller numbers of many of these.
Mhm. We could do ones like grasses and shrubs or something. Find enough grasses.
Insects might be a really interesting one because usually the insect population is a good indicator of how things are going. Because once the insects are in decline, then the birds are greatly in decline. To start with,
Yeah.
I would vote for either birds or mushrooms.
Okay.
Should we do birds since we've kind of missed the window of mushrooms for this year? And if we have this, and if we have a bird hike, we
Yeah,
could
it's
print
good
it off and
advertising.
hand it out. Or have people print them out for birds.
There probably is. Not those days,
Mm-hmm.
and then they wouldn't be the same format, but it would be like that.
Mhm. Maybe we could do both of them simultaneously and see which one's easiest. And
Mhm.
I know that I have a lot of mushroom photos right now because it just, it's the end of mushroom season. So as opposed to if we were to do that one in 6 months, we'd have to scroll way back for photographs as opposed they're all really live and active right now. Well, I am willing to start putting together the one for mushrooms. Does anybody else want to start putting together the one for birds? How are you with the computer, Andy? Yes. Okay, so I'm going to start an Excel or a Google Sheet. I'm going to start a Google Sheet with different columns, and we can use the different subjects we put on there. And we can start with trying to get our 20. And then if you can help me get the 20 top birds that you want. For mushrooms, it's easy because I can just look through the photos that I have and then go back and identify those. But for birds, maybe if your favorite birds that are in all of our backyards, and that will hopefully get us to 20. Does that sound good? Can you think of, I can think of 5 right now. If we all think of 5, we would be at 20. Okay. Awesome. Fantastic. I'll try to go home and do that today while
Yeah.
it's active, and I'll share it with everybody. Okay, wonderful. Anything else about that PD field guide? I feel like that will be really handy for folks to have because they can just go to the nature and science page and print it up the way they can with the bingo. Okay, under other business, Hawthorne's property, I wish I had anything to say, but I don't have anything to say. I know that there are meetings that are happening with Karen Askey, and the town asked me to be on that committee, and I have not gone to a meeting in a very long time because I just have been too busy and overwhelmed with doing that. If anybody else wants to go to those meetings with Karen on my behalf, I also felt, honestly, it is a committee that was formed by different people on the board. I felt that my view about the property was very different than everybody else on the committee. So I kind of saw it. So for example, when talking about opening it up to the public and where parking might be, it was a lot of no, 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 no's. You can't do parking here because people aren't going to want traffic over by Alpine Hills. Can't do traffic over here. It was a lot of people that are nervous. I got that vibe. Yeah.
They don't want anything to be changed.
Should
for
be
the sake
changed.
of-
Yeah, because of
of
fire
the-
has, safety, fire safety hazards. I know. Yeah. The person that I did have a great interaction with, and I guess this is all being recorded, so here we are. Great interaction was the person who was on the trails committee. Because of course they're very excited about opening it up and having the trails there. But there were a lot of other people in town that are very nervous about change. And I get that. Change can sometimes a little bit scary, but I think that things changed a little bit whenever we have the farmer's market here, and people are very nervous about there being a farmer's market. And I'm very grateful for my strawberries, asparagus, and chicken tonight. And then I get to see more more. And the number of people we get to see happy faces. Does anybody else want to go? Okay, that sounds great. Yeah, that sounds great. I will do. Okay. The next meeting is May 9th at 5 p.m. Anything else? So it's only 5:35, 5:36. And we can adjourn this meeting. And I'll go home this evening and make that Google sheet so that hopefully we get this thing compiled very quickly before the next hike. Sound good?
You said that our meeting is in May. Have we decided to do them monthly or are we still doing them every other month?
You're right, every other month. We said we were going to do every other month. So I think officially we have to go through the town and have them change our, need to have a May meeting. Very good point.
Okay,
Yeah, so let's plan on go ahead and doing the May 9th meeting.
great.
Sound good? I will be here.
Let me check my schedule.
Thursdays usually are good.
I know, but May is also AP tests.
You have a test on May 9th, on May 10th.
The 10th? No, 9th is Thursday. Great. I have apes.
Wonderful. So you'll be done with it. No more studying.
Yes, I'll be done
We
with
can
it.
celebrate that you'll be done with that test.
Mhm.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you, everybody. Only because Bonnie makes me. Are you ready? Are you ready to be chair? I would ask Grace, but I know that she's very overwhelmed with her junior year. So she
Mhm.
doesn't need another thing on her plate. A year from now, she's going to be so relaxed.
Oh, I hope so.
All right, so I'm going to end the. End meeting for all. Yep. Hit End meeting for all. That one right there.